and we're glad to have you on board. If you'll wait, Nicole, did you log in? She's trying to get in, so it may take her a minute. Housekeeping. Would you like to do housekeeping first, Kirby?
Yes. Like Debbie said, welcome everyone to the Region 5 Planning and Policy Council meeting, the last one of 2021. Where did the year go? Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us this morning. I know it's going to be a great meeting. We're continuing to meet virtually this time around just to keep everyone safe during the pandemic. So we are holding this meeting virtually per the Open Meetings Act. So with that being said, this meeting is being recorded and it will be posted to the department website within the next day or two. Please keep your phones muted or your computer muted if you're not presenting. It just helps to prevent any feedback from coming through. And also please state your name when you're asking a question or commenting on something, because it's helpful when capturing the minutes. I'm going to go ahead and go through the attendance, Debbie, and then others, Nicole, and then I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
So like I said, my name is Kirby Fye. I'm here with the department. We have a caller. Was it Jennifer Grayson? Was that your name? I thought I heard come through.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jennifer.
I'm from TMHCA. Yes. Hi. It's nice to be here. It's my first one.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Amber Hampton, our vice chair. Avis Easley with the department. Debbie Hillen, our chair. Greg Keeling, Clark Harrison. Kimberly, what's your last name, Kimberly? I think you're muted.
Sorry, Ladd, L-A-D-D.
Oh, okay. I should know that by now. I'm sorry. Kimberly Ladd. Cooper or Cal Bryant. Maria Smith. Nicole, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Luce.
I was right in my mind. Great. Ray Sanchez, Stephanie Hale, and Wendy Sullivan. Did I miss anyone? Also, really quick, Debbie, before I forget, I know that you had invited Nehru to come today and then he couldn't come, but he did say that, pose any questions that you wanted for him, and I can bring them back to him and he'll answer them, and, hopefully he can present at the next meeting, but he'd be happy to answer any questions that you pose for him during today's meeting.
Hi.
All right, it's all yours.
Again, welcome. Excuse me. Nicole is my new assistant. She's my sidekick. She tries to keep me in line and keeps me circling back on things that. See, Maria, you laughing way.
I'm in a meeting. What's up?
Yeah. Yeah. Maria, that was not nice.
That's okay. I turned my stuff off. What's up?
Coach Cooper. But
somebody called me. I'm getting everything mixed up here.
Cooper, you're not. Oh, there she is. She's muted now.
Yeah. So again, welcome. You and I apologize for the minutes being late getting out. If you'll recall that meeting, I was trying to chair the meeting as well as take the notes. Somewhere Nicole came in and cleaned my desk off, and I don't know where any of my notes are. So Kirby was nice enough to send us the transcript. So she transcribed the minutes the other day and got them out. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Make a motion to accept. This Clark.
Thank you, Clark. Second. Amber, can you second that?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor? raise your hand. Wave that you accept it. Thank you. Hey, Ray, I like that little hand over there. We have asked Monty Burks to attend and to tell us about the faith-based initiative as it relates to specifically our counties that are in Region 5. Looks like I may need to send Monty a reminder. The other presenter that we had today is Kimberly Ladd, and she talked about some of the stuff that was going on in Murray County and some things that was coming about. And so we wanted to have her back to fill in the gaps. Where are we with some of those things? And can those things be replicated in some of the other counties that we serve? So Kimberly, if you would, will you please, oh, there she is. She popped up. Tell us what's going on down there in Murray County. You're muted.
There we
There you
go. Okay, I'm not used to Teams. I have a little of a PowerPoint if anybody would like to see it. Is there a way that I can share?
Maria, you're in charge of that one.
If not, it's okay.
Do you need to share your screen, did you say?
Yeah,
Yes.
can I do that?
Okay, so in the top, you have permissions. So in the top right corner where it's next to the leave button, you'll see the box with the arrow on your screen. It should be in the top right corner.
Let's see here. Show participants, open share tray. Is that it?
Yeah, it should say share content.
Screen share and entire screen. I'm going to share my entire screen. Share, sorry.
It's okay.
There you go.
Can you see
You can
now?
see it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to go to share over here. Oh no, let's see, present. There we go. I'll get used to it in a second. All right, everybody. My name is Kimberly Ladd. Thanks so much, Debbie, for inviting me to give an update. I'm with Murray County Prevention Coalition. And I first want to say that all prevention coalitions differ in their goals and their strategies, but we're all multi-sector community collaborations, all working together toward common prevention goals. Implementing evidence-based strategies at the community level. And I brought up some graphics that I think that are helpful to just familiarize everyone. Not everybody might be familiar with what coalitions do, but like I mentioned, we work within multi-sectors, and ideally that's 12 sectors represented. And recently, I believe it finished actually last month, National Coalition Academy was hosted for the first time in Tennessee by Prevention Alliance of Tennessee. And we actually had 27 coalitions represented. And that means that all of those coalitions submitted coalition strategies, including logic models and community assessments to describe their activities in their communities. That'll be something that Prevention Alliance of Tennessee continues. Over to the right, this is our strategic prevention framework, just vision for how we work with community assessments. We've continuously worked to grow capacity within the community to create those evidence-based plans and strategies. And that's an ongoing, ever-evolving process. Always as we get new data, we're attempting to run that upstream to have the best impact on youth that we can possibly have. Overall, the primary prevention goal is to delay the onset of first use by youth. I I also wanted to share a graphic of those coalitions that were represented in training. You can see how we kind of circled those off, the representation that we had during this last cohort. I also participated. It was really awesome to be able to have an overarching vision of what effective coalitions look like in each of all of our counties. This is also a graphic representing the strategic prevention framework and a little in-depth view of what those assessments look like. This is where we grab our community's profile, we make an assessment of the resources and readiness to address the needs and gaps. And again, this is always an ever evolving process. We work to create capacity within the community, building those relevant and necessary relationships to develop that strategic and action plan and implement those evidence-based strategies and activities with an ever ongoing commitment to evaluation to create, again, that's pretty redundant there, but that strategic and action framework. Here, this is a really nice graphic that I definitely wanted to share. We currently have 52 coalitions going and growing. You can see that the gray areas represent community coalitions that are developing or newly established. They're in green, which we don't have those represented yet. Then the more established coalitions are represented in blue, with mature coalitions represented there in yellow. A few updates. I believe I updated this last time, but the Coalition Development Toolkit is now ready and available. I do believe it's currently posted at tncoalitions.org. If it's not, it will be very soon. I can give everybody a view of that when I escape this PowerPoint presentation. But it's a really awesome toolkit. I have no doubt that it's going to be super effective with helping coalitions that do not yet have a coalition be able to have a toolkit that's easy to follow and all of the support that they need to get up and started. Prevention Alliance of Tennessee hosted a social determinants of health and equity training on 10/14 and 18. We had 51 people attending. That was that received really great feedback. And we look forward to continuing spreading that wisdom throughout the state within our coalitions. Prevention Alliance of Tennessee is also working with the Tennessee System of Care action teams to discuss partnerships and coalition development opportunities, prioritizing those counties that we have that are without coalitions. And again, you can reference that graphic that I shared earlier if anybody wants a copy of this presentation to see where we do not yet have coalitions. But basically, SOCAT will be able to work with their existing relationships and partnerships to build new coalitions using that development toolkit. Really exciting is that the General Assembly appropriated $500,000 to Prevention Alliance of Tennessee to advance primary prevention with a focus in youth Tennessee. And I do want to mention, I don't want to leave out that this is all under the amazing leadership of Ms. Stephanie Strutner. She was recently appointed CEO to Prevention Alliance of Tennessee, so we have gotten lots of work done under her leadership, and that has a really strong board behind it. So we're all really working forward to advancing primary prevention in Tennessee. And as you can see, we have a few counties that Stephanie is working with to form new coalitions. In collaboration with the Tennessee National Guard, Prevention Alliance of Tennessee will sponsor a capacity building workshop. So that'll be for new coalitions or any aspiring coalitions. If you know of any new collaborations that would like to learn the process, that'll happen on November 17th from 1 to 4. And as just a just if you want to jot down the website where you can find these postings is at tncoalitions.org. The ACEs toolkit is completed. I was really hoping to be able to share that with you. It's not yet ready to be distributed. It is awaiting final edits from the State Department, and that will be launched by Governor Lee. I'm super excited to announce that. So not quite yet, but it is coming. And definitely we'll expect to see future opportunities, funding opportunities to include information about ACEs, but also the positive childhood experiences and the social determinants of health that we know impact long-term outcomes. And as a result of this, I know that Debbie wanted to share me to share some of the work that we're specifically doing in Murray County. And over the past summer, I had an opportunity to study with Montana Institute and under the direction of the lead researcher, Dr. Jeff Linkenbach. He has brought to practice an amazing instrument that allows us to focus on the positive and grow the positive that we know exist in every community. And we've adopted these 7 core principles that I just wanted to briefly share with everybody. And I apologize again that graphic here isn't coming through that great, but I grabbed it pretty quick. So I hope you can see it. But to go through it with you, the first core principle is to be positive. And this allows us to make sure that we're using words that encourage, where we're growing the goodness in ourselves, each other, and our community. Number 2, we commit to being present. And that allows us to be here now, as it were. We use current data, and not only data, but people's experiences and their stories to guide our actions. Number 3, we always work to be perceptive, and that allows us to honor the good, what's strong, not what's wrong in people, but what's strong as we seek to reveal the reality and be aware of our own perceptions and how those drive our actions. Number 4, is to be purposeful. This allows us to bring hope as we align our intentions with the highest opportunity for transformation. And that, again, allows us to do so always working within that flexible plan, which we call a strategic prevention framework, to guide not just the science, but also the spirit of our work. Number 5 is to be perfected. And I don't mean perfected as in perfect ever, but knowing that we are always learners in progress, and we're always daring to improve, and we're utilizing a growth mindset so that we can be the best that we can be, always continually improving. Number 6, we're always proactive. Anytime I think of prevention, I feel we're being proactive, where we're consciously choosing where to place our focus and attention, and organizing those planning opportunities. So that enables us to respond versus react. So we're being very conscious of where we're choosing to place our intention and our actions. And number 7, my favorite, which is to be passionate. We're always passionate and excited to share our mission and vision with others, fully committed to the community transformation for the benefit of our youth. And I certainly hope that this indeed is 7 core principles that we can dare to share with other communities throughout our state. And this also, too, I want to say, Dr. Jeff's 7 core principles and the science of the positive is the fundamental framework from which hope is built. And I know that a lot of you that are following this work, we also know that positive childhood experiences impact long-term mental and physical health and well-being. And there have been 7 positive childhood experiences in particular, and those are listed here on the screen. Number 1, being able to talk about feelings with family and others. 2, being supported in family and in difficult times. 3, participating in community traditions. 4, feeling as though one belongs in school. 5, feeling supported by friends. Number 6, feeling as though at least 2 non-parental adults are there and truly care. And then 7, feeling safe and protected by adults at home. And I also wanted to bring up on the screen for you the 4 building blocks of hope that are involved in this work. And these are building blocks that build on top of each other that communities can utilize to spread the hope and well-being that ultimately provides a foundation for health and wellness later on. A couple of other, I think I have a couple of other just quick announcements too for coalitions. In August, coalitions across our community supported many others in Overdose Awareness Day. That was a day where we honor the lives that have been lost to overdose and provide community outreach. We also in September hosted Recovery Month, and that allowed communities to celebrate the hope that exists. Always a part of our work is making sure that people have a pathway to treatment and recovery. So those are always awesome opportunities to get out there and spread awareness. And then in October, we hosted our biannual drug take back. I don't have the current numbers, everybody, for October, but I know in April we collected over 19,000 pounds of prescription drugs. Again, this is a biannual event that we host twice a year, encouraging people to clean out their medicine cabinets, keeping our waterways and vulnerable folks safe and protected. We'll do that the 4th Saturday upcoming in April. And then also community coalitions hosted Red Ribbon Week. And that's our opportunity to really get into our schools to promote drug-free community. So lots of activities at the last quarter of our year. I think that's all of my updates. Oh, I did have one last little thing. I just gave you those updates though. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but that was, you know, it's always an education for me on the treatment side to see what is happening on the prevention side. Because sometimes, quite honestly, I forget it there. And then as you were talking, and when you put the slide up that showed the counties, one of the things that came to mind as you were talking, I'm thinking, okay, is Dixon County, how active is Dixon County Coalition, and do they have one? So I see they did have one because I have 2 grandsons in that school system. And would, you know, just like, okay, I need to make sure they have all the information that they have that's available to them at their school. So that prompted me to make a couple of notes to check into to the Dixon County Coalition. And the other one is Marshall County. Marshall County didn't have one, did they, Kimberly?
Hold on, let me go back and look. Marshall.
Oh, no, it does not. It's next to you. Okay. Because I have a granddaughter in that county in a high school. So I'm always looking for those things. And and those things are important to me personally, I'll say that. Because I do have 3 grandchildren, and they carry the gene to be chemically dependent because of my husband at the time. And so I'm always interested in making sure they get the information that they need about not using and why that's important. So personal reasons, those two counties are really important to me.
Yeah. Thank you for.
Yeah. And would you please send the presentation?
Sure.
Because that you have some great graphics with some great information in there that I'd like to share with my staff from a treatment perspective. Anyone else with any questions? Okay, Kimberly, it's all, and the ACES thing. So did you say it was completed now?
It is complete. We're just waiting for final edits and that will be released.
Okay. All right. So because we do the ACES on everyone that's admitted to Buffalo Valley. So I'd be interested in seeing some additional information with regard to this.
Absolutely. I'll send it over.
Okay. Monty, have you joined us?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
You are here. Well, can we see your smiley face? There it is.
Let me put my glasses on. Hey, everybody. So make sure y'all can see me as I see you guys.
Yeah. I invited Monty because I know he has done an awful lot in our counties for Region 5 at bringing on the faith-based community and educating them on addiction and them being available to help those when, from a prevention standpoint, a good piece, but for us as a treatment piece, being able to know, hey, I can refer somebody, this is a friendly place to go. They understand addiction and they're not going to be negative towards you. So we asked Monty to come and to tell us what's going on in our Region 5 as it relates to faith-based organizations.
Okay, let me pull up. Can I have a screen share? Is that okay?
That's the Maria thing.
Yeah, you have access to it.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. That is my handsome son. And here we go. Can everybody see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, first, hi, everybody. Kubra, Maria, Amber, and everybody else who I hadn't seen. Great to see everybody. I haven't been on one of the region planning calls in some time. Debbie, thank you for inviting me on. In case any of you guys don't know, I have a lot of people that I answer to in this world, and one of them is Debbie Hillen. And Debbie and I go way back. She's a close and personal friend of mine, so I really appreciate any opportunity that I can to share information and anything that she asked me. So here's my awesome picture and contact information. I think you all have this information. If you don't, you can get that on our state website. Also, just to share this with you, my hair is no longer black. That is my only professional shot I've ever taken. My hair is actually gray now. It's called COVID gray. I've embraced that. Kurt, you can laugh with me. Don't laugh at me, my friend. So first, we're going to give an update on our faith-based initiatives, our faith-based community coordinators, raising awareness and opportunities for recovery. Our faith-based initiatives goals are driven through our faith-based coordinators and also connected with our Project Lifeline coordinators and our Tennessee Collegiate Recovery initiatives, which I'll cover briefly at the end of this presentation. The goals of our faith-based initiative are to connect individuals struggling with addiction to treatment, facilitate an understanding of treatment and recovery, increase knowledge about addiction, understand the continuum of care and collaborate with it. And as Debbie said a few minutes ago, recovery-friendly congregations and recovery-friendly spaces, when people understand the continuum of care, prevention, treatment, recovery, criminal justice, and where they can attach to that continuum, that gives them a unique place, and it also gives them a mission and a vision to where they can operate without threatening what they already do or without them feeling like they're not adequate to provide resources in this space. We all know that community collaboration is the only way that we can survive in the space that we operate in. We don't have enough buildings and beds, but we do have enough community partners to help people sustain freedoms and strongholds and any other language you want to use around addiction and mental health issues. Help groups understand our best practice model and promote and continuously improve the effectiveness of our faith-based initiative. There are 3 faith-based community coordinators that are located across the state of Tennessee, specifically in Region 5. You have Jamie Harper. To the west, you have Amy Bechtel. To the east, you have Eric Landry. Each one of them work together in tandem across the state of Tennessee. So when you think of Jamie Harper in the Middle Tennessee Grand Division, he still works with his counterparts because a lot of people that work within the faith community are connected to the whole state through their denomination, through different types of ministerial organizations, interfaith groups. They all rely on each other for resources. So it's absolutely imperative that our faith-based coordinators are in tune with the faith community as a whole, not just in a specific space. There are a group of individuals with lived experience responsible for recruiting, training, and recognizing organizations as certified recovery congregations and organizations. We've done a lot of good work in Maury County. Kim, I see you on here. And I'm really thankful for our community-based partners in Region 5. I was a former Lifeline coordinator in Region 5, so I met a lot of you in that space before I actually came into state government almost 9 years ago. So today, I've actually...
Bonnie?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back to your slide for just a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the, Rutherford County has got a funny little checker box?
Yes.
Franklin? What are
yes.
those?
Those are actually, so that's a map of where our Lifeline coordinators were originally placed at.
Okay.
So each one of the counties that are hard driven in was where we had a Lifeline peer project coordinator in the beginning and where we house our faith-based coordinators. So Shelby, Madison, Weakley, Davidson, Rutherford, Coffee, Putnam, Knox, and Washington was where the original Lifeline project was located. We use the same map because that's where our faith-based coordinators are housed and do the majority of their work. It doesn't mean that that's the only places that they serve. I actually have another map that I'm going to cover in just a few minutes that'll give a more detailed piece of why these are shaded in.
All right. And one other comment. There was a comment in the comment box. Can you slow down just a little?
Yes, I can't see the comments. I think let me go back and do a presentation mode. I cannot see the comment in the comment box. Can you read it?
All right, I'll tell you. You're good. They just asked that you slow down a little.
Okay, got you. Okay, will do. And thank you. So again, these are our faith-based coordinators. If you've not had a chance to work with any of them, please give them a call, shoot them an email. They do some exciting work that I'm actually going to cover in the next few slides. So to date, we have around 780 different congregations that we work with. I've actually provided a QR scan. So if you take your phone out and hit this QR scan, it'll take you to our department's data dashboard, and it can give you some up-to-date information on our recovery congregations, where they're located. You can pull up the regions, you can pull up some of their information. Again, this is a great tool to use. I love QR scans myself. They give an opportunity not to share too much information to let a person get it on their own. So just take if you have an iPhone, just take it, open up the phone, hold up the camera, pop up the tn.gov, and the link will come up fastbacks on our recovery congregations. It can give you kind of where they're located, who is in charge of those congregations. Sometimes if the information has changed, we update as much as we can. And I'm really thankful for any feedback that you guys have and better ways for us to share this information. Our faith-based coordinators have provided educational forums in all 95 counties across the state of Tennessee. They've also increased an awareness of recovery support resources statewide, and there can be a resource for you. Our faith-based coordinators' jobs are not just to work with the faith community. Of course, they recruit and train congregations. They're also here to work with our treatment programs, our recovery programs, our hospitals, our volunteers, our prevention coalitions. We're housed in prevention coalitions. Our job is to create community access points to services by training people to understand what those continuums of care are and how people can be most effective in those communities and in those spaces. Truth be told, there are 12,000 different religious and faith institutions across Tennessee, across a unique set and array of different faiths. All of them are not going to be recovery friendly. That doesn't mean they can't be recovery informed. It doesn't mean they can't have access to the same services. What it means is our job is to make sure we get that information to them so that when a person does come to them, they don't have to have a recovery program to tell someone about a Buffalo Valley program or about a Rescue 180 or about any of these other great entities, about our prevention coalitions. So making sure communities know they don't have to do this to know about this, to partner and collaborate. So what do our faith-based community coordinators offer? This is an awesome evolved concept. And Maria Smith, I hadn't talked to you in a while, but I can actually thank Maria a lot around our trainings and opening up a broader piece to our trainings to our faith-based communities. Maria's actually traveled around the state. I've traveled with her and she's traveled with me, and we've run into each other in different spaces. And one of the things that we talk about in our professional capacity is all of the things that we do. We have to remember that our community-based collaborators don't necessarily have the same training or language capacity that we do. So we can sometimes inadvertently, unintentionally create a barrier in communication by using our institutional jargon and not communicating from a community culturally competent space. So one thing our faith-based coordinators do is they provide free training opportunities to empower and equip ministries. When you talk about empowering and equipping ministries, you have to meet ministries where they are, just like you meet people where they are. All clothing ministries won't be for all programs. All recovery meetings won't be for all people that are in recovery. With that being said, it still opens the door to new possibilities and new partnerships, understanding that, hey, with respect to all fellowships, AANA, Celebrate Recovery, all of the different programs, everybody can't go to everything, and it's not made to do that. That's the unique piece of having over 12,000 different faith and religious institutions. We have an opportunity to partner with them to use their space. Connection to recovery resources and other community supports. Again, recovery resources is not just a meeting. Sometimes it's transportation. Sometimes it's food. Sometimes it's just a friendly place to come and sit down. Debbie said it earlier. Sometimes people just need somewhere that people are not going to be mean to them. And that's broken down very in its simplest form. Somebody that can be nice, meet you where you are, reach out to someone who can come in and do a baseline assessment. That could be one of our recovery navigators. It could be one of our navigators for one of our treatment or recovery programs. It can be a vast array of people. Opportunities to collaborate with other faith-based organizations and congregations. In case you guys didn't know, we are the buckle of the Bible Belt, which means that we have a whole lot of congregations that uniquely can work together. They can also not work together. But pulling them together in the recovery space, we put a visibility and reduce stigma around collaborations around addiction and mental health. So now we have people that come to the table sometimes because their neighbor was brave enough to come to the table. And also recognition as a certified recovery congregation that will increase the impact of their ministries. Our faith-based coordinators will also provide trainings for our ARP agencies, our treatment programs, our recovery programs, our volunteers, our for-profits, our nonprofits. Some of the trainings that they provide are QPR, a 1 to 2 hour basic training for suicide prevention, covering how to ask someone if they're thinking about suicide and how to persuade the individual to live, and know about resources. Just recently, we had a QPR training in Rutherford County for the athletic community, and it was in partnership with our faith-based initiatives and our Project Lifeline. We had about 45 to 50 people in a room that were from all different sectors of the community that sat down and went through a QPR training and saw the significance and importance of them being part of the conversation. Sometimes people don't need to be referred to treatment. They need to be referred to a recovery support program. They may even need to be referred to a community-based program that has nothing to do with the treatment space, but everything to do with a new revision lifestyle. Apply Assist is also another training that can be provided by some of our faith-based coordinators. It's a 2-day intensive workshop that provides an understanding on how to implement a suicide intervention with individuals who may be having thoughts of suicide and how to keep that individual safe for now. Again, we have a wealth of gatekeepers in the faith community that people reach out to before they reach out to government, before they reach out to law enforcement, before they reach out to their doctors, and before they reach out to their teachers. Having our faith community equipped with information gives them the opportunity to be the bridge between one community and the next. We're not asking faith-based communities to provide treatment or recovery services. What we're trying to do is partner with them to be an open door, intermediary, access point, conduit, whatever words you want to use, but a way to get someone to another resource, to get someone where someone can do an assessment, a baseline assessment, and figure out what this person needs and if that resource can be provided in that area. ACEs, from a trauma-informed perspective, this is one of our greatest trainings. We do actually have one next week in Memphis with Bishop and Pastor Young. It's a 1-hour introduction or an in-depth 5-hour training covering the effects of trauma and the need to build resilience in children and adults alike. The training focuses on the importance of community and connection, as well as helps organizations and congregations create a safe place for healing and conversations to begin. A trauma-informed congregation can do a lot of great work in the community by understanding on a very basic level that just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean that it didn't happen to me. We can have went through the same event, but experienced it entirely differently, and it can affect us two entirely different ways. One of the things that has really come out of the trauma-informed congregation training is a very, very unique reduction of stigma in communities where people are asking, please tell me how I can help. And I think that's the progeny of that work and the progeny of consistency. Building Strong Brains, a 1 to 3 hour training that aids in building knowledge around early childhood brain development. Again, our faith-based coordinators have all been trained in how to facilitate and partner with other groups that will bring these trainings in to our faith-based communities. We don't offer everything. We partner with other people that can bring this training in through collaborative partnerships. Again, we're talking about 3.7 million people who attend congregational services every week in the state of Tennessee. That covers all different religions and faiths. They should also be trained on building strong brains and ACEs. Mental health first aid, 3 different modules. We've actually provided all of these in connection with other agencies to our faith-based communities. The adult, youth, and public safety. Specifically, I want to focus on the youth mental health first aid. It's an 8-hour training and with the same information as the adult, but it focuses on our youth. Can you imagine people who provide, from the Christian perspective, a Sunday school service that have youth that come to them experiencing a mental health problem or crisis? This is another level of gatekeeper and resource that can partner with your agency, partner with state government, partner with nonprofits and other community-based resources. Training opportunities around addiction, the addicted mind or the addicted brain. It's a 1 to 2 hour presentation explaining how addiction affects the brain. Now, Miss Debbie has been with me. We've been together, so has Maria, as we've acquiesced across the state. Sometimes our communities weren't as receptive in the early conversations around the addicted brain, the brain science behind addiction. We have now seen an increase in communities asking for this information. Hey, listen, I don't care when you get it, as long as you do get it. So we try to provide that training to anyone in the faith community that wants to come that needs that training. Also, remember, our faith-based coordinators, their strategic approach is to recruit and train congregations, but they will train any community-based organization that's willing and wanting to collaborate. Sexual addiction and compulsion in the congregation. It's a 1-hour training that assists congregation in understanding the effects of sexual addiction and compulsion. We've seen an increase in sexual addiction and compulsion in our faith-based communities across the country. Again, pornography addiction has become an issue. So there are now support groups and self-help groups that for people in that space. We have a really large one here in Davidson County in Nashville that meets on Friday nights. It's also support group facilitation. We talk about providing trainings and we want groups, but we have to remember that everybody doesn't understand really what happens in a group. So a 3-day training allowing the congregation to effectively provide support groups to individuals with substance use disorder and affected by life-controlling issues is absolutely important. And it's incumbent on us to make sure we offer that training. A lot of people don't know that there are things that have to be done as a group leader to make sure that the groups are peaceful and the groups are good for other people as well as the person who's talking. The person who's talking cannot dominate the group. There's all these other things that need to be discussed. And I say wonderful and unique always because I don't like to use negative words at all. I think any group or any support mechanism that we have is good because it has the potential of serving somebody. So what can what can our congregations do? Like-minded faith-based institutions become a certified recovery congregation, provide spiritual or pastoral support, view addiction by its definition as a treatable disease. We're going to reimagine the conversation around addiction, providing hope for people who need access to treatment and recovery resources, embrace and support people in recovery and walk with them on the journey, disseminate recovery information that our department will provide. A lot of the recovery information that we disseminate within our faith-based groups has come from TADAs, has come from partnerships with Maria Smith. Maria can tell you that I've sent many pastors, clergy, imams, rabbis all over to TADAs because sometimes they didn't realize the wealth of information and resources that were available to them right there free of charge. But again, disseminating that recovery information opens the door to more conversations. Host or refer individuals to recovery support groups. You don't have to have a support meeting to tell somebody about someone else. If a congregation wants to work with us, there are two ways that they can be recognized as a certified recovery congregation. Our faith-based community coordinator will partner with them through awareness and other types of means that we work with interfaith groups, ministerial alliances, and volunteers to work with communities of faith that already have meetings. We do everything we can to supplement and support. Our job is to support meetings that exist no matter what faith tradition that they cover, and to make sure that they have access to the same resources as people that are not in the faith community. I think that is something that we need to make sure that we hone in on, is our faith-based communities have been here since before any one of you and I had a job here. They will be here when we're gone. We need to make sure that they have resources and they understand how treatment works, understand evidence-based practices, understand the difference between treatment and recovery. There are some different definitions amongst faith communities around the word treatment and the word recovery. It's not an argument, it's a collaboration. What it means is we just have two different approaches of how we do work, but we can intersect in the middle from an evidence-based and evidence-informed place. They can choose to fill out a survey that makes us aware of the ways they serve the community and to promote recovery, and then we can partner with them to become a recovery congregation. We've worked with hundreds of congregations and pastors, and some of them are not recovery congregations. We work with a lot, especially in Region 5, that don't sign up for anything. I don't care if they sign up for anything. My goal is to partner with them so they can serve their community. Our faith-based initiative isn't always about outreach. It can also be about inreach. If you have 300 people in your congregation, three out of 4 of them, 75% of them know somebody or themselves need help. So that's an opportunity for them to help. Here's the QR scan that you can pull up on your telephone. It'll link you to how to become a recovery congregation. Also, here is the QR scan. If you have a faith-based group, pastor, clergy, imam, rabbi, priest, priestess, whatever their title may be, please reach out, tell them to use this QR scan. The information goes straight to our faith-based coordinators across the state, and they will reach back out to that partnership. Reach out to them and make a partnership. The second level we have that works to support our faith-based coordinators is our Lifeline Peer Project. Our Lifeline Peer Project was established to reduce the stigma related to the disease of addiction and increase community support for policies that provide for treatment and recovery services. I'm so glad that our Prevention Coalition person was allowed to speak. I did not get to hear your whole presentation, but I caught the very end of it. I'm very thankful for prevention's piece in helping Lifeline get started in the initial goal of the project. Our Lifeline Peer Project, it was very keen on working with all 12 sectors of the community, including the faith sector, and making the faith-based sector more visible and stronger. The project approaches include establishment of evidence-based addiction and recovery programs, educational presentations to specific groups, faith-based organizations, community leaders to understand the disease of addiction and strategies that promote recovery. Our Lifeline Peer Project does not only work with faith-based groups, they work with every group. They work with the Kickball Association. They go into colleges, they go into high schools, they go into middle schools. Any program or project that will allow Project Lifeline to come in, Project Lifeline will also provide the same trainings that our faith-based coordinators provide as well to community-based advocates and programs. What we do a lot of times, especially in rural areas, is we pull the faith-based community in, and we pull the secular and the non-secular community in and provide trainings together. It also gives people an opportunity to meet people that operate in the same space, but from different perspectives. To date, there are 17 Lifeline Peer Project coordinators. They provided well over 6,300 different recovery trainings. They've referred close to 15,000 people to treatment, recovery, and other types of support services. Our Lifeliners help push and get people into employment services, job readiness services, transportation, faith-based services with respect to traditions, the different fellowships that support recovery. They also help to get them there. And they've also helped work with our fellowships such as AA, NA, Celebrate Recovery, Double Trouble, all of them to increase their capacity and their footprint across the state. They've started well over 670 new recovery meetings around the state. Here is a map of the current Lifeline Project coordinators. The colored maps in the circles are the current, the original Lifeline Peer Project. We also have a joint collaboration with DHS. They're the hybrid Lifeliners. They work in the distressed areas across the state. They are all still your Lifeliners. For Region 5, you have Will Taylor and Kirk Johnson, who is in Davidson County. It's our planning Region 4, but he also serves Region 5. You have Alan Burnett, who is in the south part of Region 5. You have Ginger Wells, who is in Wayne, Perry, Lawrence, and Hickman County. And you also have Sarah Mays, who works really close on that line with Hardin / Lawrence and Lewis in that area. Each one of these coordinators will provide trainings and or support services. This is their contact information. When you go to our website, their contact information is also there. And we've done a lot of great work around the state, partnering with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network to partner with them to provide QPR trainings, as well as we also provide QPR trainings to our faith-based communities. So lastly, and I'll be real quick on this one, is our Tennessee Collegiate Recovery Initiatives. This is expanding outreach and support on campuses. The Tennessee Collegiate Recovery Initiative goals to inform campuses on how they can take a proactive role in curbing addiction, equip campuses across the state with the necessary means to take a proactive role in the addiction epidemic across the state, encourage campuses and student bodies to leverage available resources. When we talk about leveraging available resources, every single campus in Region 5 needs to know about Buffalo Valley and needs to understand what Buffalo Valley does and how they can support students that need to go into a treatment program, as well as support students post-treatment. I'm the product of working with a college post-treatment. Once I got out of treatment, I went back to college. I let my professors know that I had been through a series of things in my life that had been very much so, they could have changed me for the worse, but changed me for the better. They encouraged me to stay in school and help me build my career. To assist campuses in the process of assessing to become a collegiate recovery program and to get their programs off the ground. And again, one of the main things, this is the Collegiate Recovery Initiatives is a Lifeline initiative, and its job is to reduce the stigma related to the disease of addiction and to support mental health strategies. Also to support and sustain peer education and training, and to develop a database of recovery-friendly campuses, just like our congregations across the state. We've actually trained 26 different colleges on to be recovery-friendly through collegiate ally trainings. So our first year goals were establish relationships with campuses across the state, begin training fraternities, sororities, and campus ministries and teams to have at least one recovery ally within their organization. We have well surpassed that with the colleges and universities, TCATs, every group that we work with. To partner with treatment providers and campuses to facilitate sober tailgating on college campuses. Because of COVID, this will be more of a next year project that we're going to go into. We did have a Sober Olympics in Rutherford County recently. It rained on us pretty hard, but we were still able to have a great meeting. Provide materials for our students that are very culturally competent and working with students. Younger students, sometimes they look at information and how we deliver information different. We don't want anything to come off as threatening or something that may be stigmatizing. Continue to administer recovery ally trainings and establish advisory committees and focus groups on campus. So how the initiative works is we build from the bottom: awareness, prevention efforts, training, and social norms campaigns. All of the colleges that we have provided collegiate recovery academies at, we have invited our prevention coalitions that are in the area to be part of these trainings. Each one of you that are part of a prevention coalition, if you've not been contacted, you will as we push the initiative forward. We have actually a training next week, November 11th, Veterans Day at Motlow State Community College in Smyrna. If anybody would like to be invited to that, I will send that information to Debbie so she can disseminate that information to you. Everybody's invited. If you want to come and set up a table or a booth, please do. We're going to have a Collegiate Recovery Academy that includes a recovery ally training and a QPR training for the staff as well as the students at Motlow State Community College, and it's also open to the public. One of our partners is the Rutherford County YMCA. Resource dissemination, referrals, and possibly Narcan trainings on campus. We do harm reduction trainings with campuses. Again, opening the doors to having these unique conversations and also having our faith community there that provides recovery support services in the community. If you think about it from a community collaborative perspective, all students that are on campus that need recovery resources don't live on campus. They commute. And a lot of times they're not going to go on campus to get that type of resource because stigma still does exist. No matter how many times we talk about stigma reduction, stigma does still exist. So having all of our resource people there, our campaigns, our faith-based initiatives, our treatment programs, provides an opportunity for people that need help to know who and where to get help from. And then build that Collegiate Recovery Initiative, that Collegiate Recovery Campus, and that Collegiate Recovery Program, whatever that looks like from a culturally competent standpoint. The possibilities that universities hold for impact on their student is endless. It's a unique set of leadership that can fall outside of a lot of different traditional norms. The initiative has went in new and innovative directions that were really not foreseen in the beginning. Our original Collegiate Recovery kickoff was at Lipscomb College. We invited our faith-based community, our treatment community, our recovery community, anybody that wanted to come. Nashville Prevention Partnership was there to provide a naloxone training. We did a QPR training and a recovery ally training. It was taken well with the students. And because of that, now we have Bison Recovery, which meets twice a week. And we're working on helping students understand behavioral health and how they can be effective and possibly work in the behavioral health care field. Campuses, the faculty, and the students are truly an untapped resource to initiate general change, not only within their community and subsequently the broader community as a whole. Again, we're talking about systemic change. Utilizing our people that are in the college space is a unique opportunity for that. That is all I have for my presentation. I have shared my slides with Kirby. And with that, I'm going to yield back my screen share. I don't know how to do it. How do I stop my screen share?
If you scroll across the top, it'll show you, hit the X. You see that? There you go.
It is. Gotcha. I've not ever shared on Teams before. That was I'd always do it on Zoom. Okay. If you guys have any questions for me, Kubra, I see you have your hand raised. Yes, ma'am.
You said that this is for all faiths, this program. I'm just curious. We have one of the largest Kurdish population in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in touch with them? Are you doing anything for the Muslim community?
I'm actually working. I work with a group that is contacted with the Kurdish Christian community as well as the Kurdish Muslim community. I met with them over COVID. We are working on building some type of stigma reduction exercises so we can have recovery space in those communities. What happened is the cultural difference between the Kurdish community and this community is different. So we had to navigate through friendly conversations, more culturally competent conversations than anything, before we sent our Lifeline peer projects in, before we sent Narcan trainings in. We had to make sure that we were saying the right thing so we didn't get shut down at the front door. The lady that I worked with actually works out of the Davidson County Behavioral Wealth Advisory Committee. I actually sat on that committee, and she invited me to have a sit down. We're going to hopefully, I can't remember the name of the place, but it's over close to Paragon Mills. There's a community center or a community collaboration over off of Harding Place. We're going to try to get some work in with the Kurdish community. So Cooper, thank you for asking that. And yes, that community is on the radar. Anybody who knows me knows I will go into anybody's synagogue, mosque, sanctuary. I don't care. I had the unique experience of going into the Islamic Center during Jumu'ah. And first, I didn't take my shoes off at the right spot, so I had to fix that. But again, it was a cultural experience for me because I understand that they have an internal government in their institution that has to be part of a recovery conversation, or you're not going to have a recovery conversation. Wow. So understanding those cultures in that space has helped us there. And thank you for saying that, Cooper. And it's really good to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
It's lovely to see you too. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Monty, I think Ray has her hand raised.
I can't.
Ray Sanchez.
Hey.
Ray, do you still have a question? Okay. I had a question. When you were showing your map, Monty, and you had, I think it was Wayne and Perry County was a different shade, and you mentioned a different name other than Allen's. Can you tell me, say a little more about that?
Yes, ma'am. On the verge of becoming distressed counties. So what we did through an innovative partnership with the DHS is we have a hybrid Lifeline coordinator. Her name is Ginger Wells. She actually works really close with you, Debbie, and she tells her own story. So I'm not telling something that she doesn't talk about. She's actually has in her early treatment days was a member. She's a member of the Buffalo Valley alumni. And so she's a very, very positive story. She's the equivalent of Allen just in the 4-county space. So she operates in that area, and she works with your coordinators often on placing people. But that's what those hybrid coordinators are. Their job is the majority of their work is in the distressed counties. But if you call them from somewhere else, they're still going to connect to resources. They're going to try to navigate to get you to a treatment agency.
And you said that was Wayne, Perry,
Lewis, and Hickman.
All right. Now, just for your information, back when Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln Davis was our congressman.
Yes.
He was able to work. Lewis and Lawrence County are listed as Appalachian counties. So they have been identified as distressed counties and are part of the Appalachian group.
I did not know that. That's I did not, but I can understand from working with them and experiencing their demographics and being up in our northeast part of the state. Very, very similar in the issues that plague the community, including transportation. I know it's not for this council, but that's a unique. There are a lot of people that want help, but they don't have access to get there.
Well, one of the things that come to mind when you were saying that, the Lewis, Perry, Wayne, Hickman is not one of it, but my Project Rural Recovery goes into those counties. And so as I was taking notes as you were talking, because I like to specifically reach out to her to try to help get the word out to the community that there's free health care on these days when this bus rolls into town.
Absolutely. And Debbie, I think that Ginger, if you've not met her, that will be a great opportunity for her. She's very loud in the community. She's very loud. So she fits in the space that you need her to operate in. And she also works, Ginger's really good at working with communities that have never been invited to the table. So she could really open some doors. I know Project Rural Recovery, I've not worked with the one in your region, but I've worked with the ones in East Tennessee. And sometimes the message falls on deaf ears about what Project Rural Recovery can offer. So I think that maybe she could be possibly part of that. And whatever you need her for, please, if you can't, she will call you back. But if you need anything, you don't have to ask me, you tell me. And if y'all don't know Debbie, I know Debbie. That's my other mama. So.
Yeah. Hey, we got a good relationship.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things, and Nicole, my assistant, is also on here helping me take notes and so forth. If you could send me her contact information.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'd like to do is I've got to be back in Perry County to meet with the judge on the 8th. And I'd like to maybe see if she could meet me there as well.
Is it Judge Spitzer?
No, I've already met with Judge Spitzer. It's Judge Moore.
Judge Katarina Moore. Yes, we've absolutely. So we have a relationship with her. And that would be great. Yes, ma'am. I'll send you her contact information. Judge Moore's got some really great ideas. Debbie, I think that you and her are going to do really great work together.
That's what Judge Spitzer said. Yes.
We're actually working with Judge Spitzer as well, our faith-based coordinators, to do a trauma-informed church training for the churches that work with him. Judge Spitzer has a very unique group that he works with. Yeah, that's his group. So we're trying to help them. They're going to be part of the equation. We're going to help them from a peer-led perspective.
All right. And some of your trainings that you referenced, the assist and the QPR.
Yes, ma'am.
ACEs. And the mental health first aid. Did I hear you say that, let me ask this. Can non-faith-based organizations participate in those trainings?
Yes, all day. If anybody that wants these trainings, we open the door to any group of collaboration. What we always ask is if we do provide a training, just make sure if you do it, we like to invite communities to do the trainings. So sometimes we like to incorporate our faith-based community as well as our evidence-based community. We try to couple it. It doesn't always work like that. But the reason that when it does work like that is so if questions are asked and somebody's there that runs a treatment program, they can answer the question better than somebody that doesn't run the program. It's very culturally competent to have people from all those sectors in the trainings together. And also it enhances the information because people can ask real life people. And even like that in the CPRS trainings, and I mean, I don't want to go into that, but from that perspective, when you got people that are bikers, horse riders, and people that are from traditional HBCUs that are just trying to become peers, you got 3 whole levels of different cultural stuff that can be brought to the table. So yes, all you got to do is call. If you can't reach them, you can reach out to me and I'll coordinate the trainings.
All right, that's part of what I needed to know. Okay. Anyone else with questions? And the gray hair looks good on you, Monty. So you're
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. It just happened overnight. My son said, "Hey, Dad." Yeah, my son said, "Hey, Dad, your hair is gray." I said, "Thank you. Appreciate you telling me that."
I noticed it, but I wasn't going to say anything, so I was glad you did.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Again, Monty, thank you very much. I will tell you, we have reached out numerous times to the Lifeliners. And when we specifically asked for one of them to be there, they've always been there. But I would like to have, because I know they come with a world of information from the community perspective, is if we could get them to be a regular participant in the Region 5 meetings.
That would be, Ginger would be, I would love for Ginger. Please include her because she still needs to know you all. Some of the other ones know you. She's very good, and she's very good. And I think somebody just dropped in the comment box. Please, I would encourage that, Debbie, and let me know what I can do to help her be part of this.
Okay, you got it.
I'm actually going to send you an email right now introducing you too.
Okay, that's great. Again, Monty, thank you for your time and the information. And you said the slides had been provided to Kirby.
Yes, ma'am. I sent them to Kirby. It's got everybody's contact information on it. So her numbers, her stuff's on her, but I'm still going to shoot an email between you and her if you don't mind.
No, appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
Great to see everybody. Bye, Kubra, Maria, Amber, Kurt, and I think I saw Kim. Kim, she's gone. Kim and Greg, I see you too. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Monty.
There's a lot of information today. Information about what a specific coalition is doing. And as we talked, that prompted me to think, okay, I need to reach out to Dixon because I need to make sure Dixon is covering Stuart Burns, and do some specific targeting where, to make sure that takes place. Monty, I knew Monty had his hands in everything. And I knew he would come with a world of information. And as I was actually meeting with Judge Spritzer the other day about his new 10 Rocks program, he's running a hybrid recovery court. He talks with me a lot about wanting to wrap extra services around those who come through the thing post-treatment. And so I can tell you from a treatment perspective, knowing where those congregations are, knowing where the preventions are, knowing where the Lifeliners and them are, that's a godsend. Because while I may have a world of knowledge stuck between these two ears, there is so much more that, all the stuff that Monty was saying, I want to know I want to drill down further. Who are those recovery congregations in Lawrence County where I have a new project? Where is that in those 5 counties where that bus runs? Because it does take everyone. And sometimes when I can speak from a treatment side, sometimes on the treatment side, we only see treatment. But as a crusty old counselor that I usually describe myself as, I know that there's more. And I think that's important that we have all the tools that we need. Next on the agenda is the department's update. Oh, wait, before you go, before Kirby starts, Greg, you are correct in that the consumer housing specialists are another piece of that program. And if you would send me a list of who those are, I would like to include them as it pertains to Region 5. I like it for the state because we get referrals from all over the state. However, I would specifically like it for Region 5. Kirby, update?
Yes. Okay. Before I get started, because I don't have the agenda pulled up and I'm not sure if you had the needs assessment on there. I know we had a lot of information today, so it's okay if you didn't.
Actually, I hand wrote needs assessment down at the bottom because I knew that was going to sneak up on us.
Yeah, just something to think about. So I wanted to just give a little update on where we're at with the needs assessment. There's been some changes that will begin for the 2022 needs assessment. Good changes, I think. So as you know, as some of you may know, some of you that are newer on the call and not know, each regional council, along with the Consumer Advisory Board and the Adult and Children's Statewide Committee, participates in an annual needs assessment each year. They're due August 15th. They used to be August 1st, but now they're August 15th or whatever day is closer to that on a day of the week. And each of these councils and committees, they identify 2 mental health needs and 2 substance abuse needs in their region. There's supporting data that is needed for each need. It's sent to me. I put it together in a summary. It's shared with the department and Commissioner Williams, and it's used in the development of the department's 3-year plan. It's also used when looking at budget requests and different things like that. Most recently, during the legislative proposal process, which I know Debbie is familiar, we had a proposal from Region 2 requesting that we increase the number of needs to be submitted. Instead of just 4, increasing it, it didn't really give a number. They just wanted them to be increased. Commissioner Williams took a look at that. It wasn't something that needed to be handled legislatively. It was something that could be handled within the department. And go ahead. Oh, I thought Kurt was coming over. He was going to say something. I saw him run over to the screen. I'm like, what am I saying wrong? Commissioner Williams decided that each of the councils and committees have the option to submit anywhere from 2 to 6 needs. They just have to be equally representative of mental health and substance abuse. So if your region opts to submit 2 needs total, 1 must be mental health, 1 must be substance abuse. If you submit 4, just as it always is, 2 and 2. And if you submit 6, 3 and 3. The data piece remains the same. It's just, you know, a lot of regional councils struggle with just picking 4. So now they have the opportunity to select 6 if they want. And then there's other councils that there might just be 2 needs that really stand out in their region because maybe some of the other needs they've identified are already being addressed. So now they don't have that pressure to submit more than the number of needs that they feel are identified in their region. So I just wanted to give you a little update there. Do you have any questions about that before I move on to the...
But now, you don't give us the August 1st to get this stuff in.
April 15th? No,
Yeah.
April.
You said August.
Oh, did I say August? I'm sorry. I meant April. No, sorry. I'm sorry.
See, I got all excited there.
That would have been really late.
Well, you know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's April 15th. I'm sorry.
Hey, Kirby, sorry. We were doing an art project in my office, so I was trying to make sure glitter didn't go everywhere. I wasn't trying to wave you off or anything.
I saw you like off in the background, and then I said something like legislatively, and I'm like, oh no, did I say something wrong? Because the way you flew at the camera.
No, my 4-year-old is right underneath the camera, and she was anyway. No, this is a really exciting development.
when it comes to that.
Yeah, you'll get used to it. But we're excited to be able to work with y'all to try to see if there's a way that if y'all have more needs, y'all can present those. But thanks anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll go into our update. Let me pull this up here. Okay. Okay, so a lot of these updates were shared via email already. So some of you that are on the email list may have already received these updates, but in the event that you aren't, I wanted to include them in our update just so you have access to them. The year 3 FY 2022 of the 3-year plan is complete and can be found on the department website. So that 3-year plan took a look at the 2021 needs assessment summary that was submitted this year. The August report of the year 2 FY 21 3-year plan is complete. If you would like to take a look at that, it just shows the progress from last year. It's a reporting document from last year's 3-year plan to see how different programs, if they were successful or not, or they may have made adjustments with the new 3-year plan based on how they did last year. If you would like to take a look at that, please email Amber or Debbie. They have access to that, or you can email me and I'd be happy to share it with you so you could take a look at it. The FY 22 mental health block grant application was submitted to SAMHSA on August 26th. The FY 2022 mental health block grant report is in progress, and councils will have an opportunity to review that soon. The department is expanding On Track Tennessee, Tennessee's first episode psychosis initiative, to 3 new counties. Funding for this expansion is coming from federal COVID-19 pandemic response grants. On Track Tennessee works with youth and young adults ages 15 to 30 who have experienced a first episode of psychosis. This comprehensive intervention model uses a team of mental health professionals and support services, focusing on helping people work toward recovery and meeting their personal goals. The new locations for On Track Tennessee are Montgomery County, served by Mental Health Cooperative, Anderson County, served by Ridgeview Behavioral Health Services, and Rutherford County, served by Volunteer Behavioral Health Care Services. So 2 of those are Region 5, I believe, Montgomery and Rutherford. These counties were selected for expansion based on a review of department mobile crisis data, which demonstrated a significant number of face-to-face crisis assessments for ages 10 to 24 in these counties. The department is receiving federal funding to support the mental health needs of individuals who survived deadly flash flooding in August. More than $116,000 in funding through FEMA's Crisis Counseling Program will support services for residents of Dixon, Hickman, Houston, and Humphreys counties. The 4 counties recovered under a major disaster declaration following the devastating flooding in August. Mental health services will be provided through Centerstone, which has existing relationships in the affected counties and has experience doing this work following natural disasters. Funding through the grant will provide staffing for mental health professionals from Centerstone to visit the affected communities, assess needs, and deliver services. The initial funding is designed to provide services for up to 60 days. However, the department is also applying to FEMA for an additional grant, which would provide extended support to survivors for up to 9 months. Hold on, I want to go through. There's some announcement here, but they're for East Tennessee, so I want to. I'm going to keep them in my update just in case you have anyone that an agency that might want to share it for East Tennessee, but I'm just going to discuss the ones relative to you all. Okay, the department is seeking proposals from agencies and organizations throughout the state of Tennessee to develop new, safe, quality, and affordable permanent housing options for individuals experiencing mental illness, substance use disorder, including opioid use disorder, and/or co-occurring disorders. An additional focus on this funding announcement is for individuals ready for discharge from the regional mental health institutes, including those who are uninsured. The deadline to apply for this grant is November 22nd, and I've included a link to the department website that gives you more information on how to apply. The department is requesting proposals from agencies and organizations throughout the state of Tennessee to develop safe, quality, and affordable permanent housing options, to provide ongoing operations for newly created housing options, and or to provide recovery support services to benefit residents of newly developed, safe, quality, and affordable permanent housing for Tennesseans living with substance use disorder. The deadline to apply is also November 22nd. And this is through the CHI 2.0, if you're familiar, the Creating Homes Initiative 2.0, which focuses on substance use disorder. I've included a link in here for where you can find more information on that announcement of funding. And last but not least, the department is seeking proposals from local providers interested in implementing the Tennessee Resiliency Project Grant in targeted communities. The department will provide funding to the 7 regional planning and policy council regions across the state to cultivate partnerships, assess communities' needs, and provide community-based, family-driven, evidence-based services and supports that align with the 3 Tennessee Resiliency Project Grant goals. The first is to promote early childhood mental health. The second is to increase access to school-based mental health services. And the last is to ensure enhanced coordination of crisis care. The deadline to apply for this funding is November 15th. And I've also included a link there. I'll send this to you all, Nicole, because you're taking the notes. I'll send this to you. So if you're putting together the minutes, you can just copy and paste this and put it in your report.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions or any comments for Kirby?
Lots of funding.
Yeah, a lot of funding. And I don't know, I was trying to pull mine up here and I couldn't pull it up. And Kurt, since you're on the call here, first of all, we want to see your art project. Oh, oh, wait, no, you got to back it off. Back it off some. Oh, looky there. That's a good project. I got a dinosaur the other day. It was a specific kind that my grandson gave me. So it's on my refrigerator. But anyway, yeah.
Nice.
Can you talk with anything with regard to the budget that was presented to the governor?
Yeah. So on Monday, we presented our budget to the governor, to Butch Ely, the finance commissioner, and David Thurman, the budget office director, and to Brandon Gibson, the COO. As always, we had a ton of support from providers and advocates and service recipients in the room, and they they definitely made their presence known if that they were watching online. A lot of really big asks. I believe the commissioner said this is the largest increase in request ever made by the department. One of the things that we know that we've heard a lot from the councils is that we asked for funding for workforce development, $10 million annually on a recurring basis is what we asked for. The governor, if you'll go back and look at the hearing, they asked some questions about that and had some concerns about the workforce and how it's able to respond to, as y'all know very well, the huge need that was already there before COVID, but has been exacerbated by COVID. That workforce development request included a lot of the recommendations that came from the workforce work group that our department in TennCare held over the course of 3 meetings over the summer. There's some money for, in that request, money would go towards sign-on bonuses, toward, I believe, internships, those types of things. So it's a if you followed along with the workforce work group, there was a focus on what we need to do now to retain the workforce we have now and to recruit the future workforce. So that was a big part of the ask. In our capital projects, we have asked for money to fund a new hospital for Moccasin Bend. And there was some good discussion in the budget hearing around that. There was money for, there was requests for substance abuse. There was requests for, actually, let me just pull up real quick and I'll go through and roll.
Yeah, I just was printing off the one sheet, well, the two sheets. I printed 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand and all money is appreciated.
Right. So here we go. Cost increases. We had 8 total that were not related to capital budget requests, but the big one. I skipped over the big one. Cost of living adjustment, provider rate adjustments for department providers. We asked for almost $36 million recurring. That would represent, we went back and looked over the last 10 years and said 2% over those course of last 10 years.
Okay. I love it.
There you go. So
I love
we looked at she's a lot of fun. She's my boss here at home during the work day. But basically, I believe it will represent a 20% rate increase. That's 36.
Is that on the per diem rate?
Debbie, I don't know. I don't have the details for that. If you want to send an email to Kirby on that, we can get more information on you on that. But in general, really good news around that. Substance abuse clinical treatment, asking for $6 million around that. Addiction recovery program, ARP, asking for an additional $1 million recurring. Crisis continuum expansion. This would, I believe, we would want to use this money to build out, I believe, 3 more. Do
you know the area that you're looking at for the crisis walk-in centers?
That's another. I know that was shared on with us, and I can't recall at this particular moment, Debbie. But if you will ask Kirby, we'll be sure to get those details to you as they can be shared.
I have a question about the 26.5 million in non-reoccurring residential treatment infrastructure. Can you define that a little clearer?
Yeah, and this is infrastructure is the key here. Working with providers to increase the number of residential treatment beds across. Hold on a second, please. Hey, do you hear that I'm on a phone call? All right, thank you. To expand residential treatment beds across the state.
Okay.
I've talked about the Tennessee Behavioral Health Workforce. That's $10 million recurring. Creating Jobs Initiative, $900,000 recurring. I believe if you go back and watch the budget hearing, I believe they talked about being able to use a federal match to even enhance that more. And then IT support services, we're asking for, I believe, 5 positions. Right now, you know that our department, all y'all know our department has a very, very low overhead, and that extends to our IT support teams for the programs and data systems that we have. and this would be really a great move forward to be able to support those systems. But all that together, that's almost $65 million in recurring ask, $42 million in non-recurring, for a total ask of $106 million. And of course, there's other capital requests that are rolled into that as well, or not rolled into that, but separate. Moccasin Bend being a new hospital at Moccasin Bend being being the big one there. And then of course, to give you all the full picture, we were asked to present efficiency plans and the program that we of course, this is something that we've submitted in years past, and we certainly know and value the peer support centers. But this was the decision was made to present this as a possible efficiency plan candidate. Hopefully, we won't have to do that. But we had to comply with the instructions given by the governor.
Okay. Well, as always, I've said it before and will continue to. Commissioner has been very intentional in making sure that she asks for money that goes into direct services. And so
right,
that's an important part, and that is appreciated. And I know I speak for myself, we'll do whatever we can to help put the word in that these are noteworthy and needed services to our representatives up on the Hill. So again, thank her for willingness to stick out there and go for the money so that we can provide the services.
Absolutely. She and you can see on the screen here that I have some brief descriptions of some of the things I went over. The crisis continuum expansion, we're hoping to have, like I said, 3 new crisis walk-in centers or crisis stabilization units. But thank you for saying that, Debbie. I mean, I said this to a couple of people over the last couple of days. Our advocates, our providers, y'all are the ones that really push these things forward. Our department is lucky to have the commissioner that we have and have the relationships we have with the governor and the legislature. But the legislators love hearing from their community, and y'all make all the difference in the world in letting them know what the priorities are and what they need to be paying attention to. So we look forward to working in our legislative team with Zach Blair and Kristen Veloff, Rachel Jones. We'll look forward to working on this budget and making sure that we get as much of this as we possibly can. That's in the final governor's plan, and then look forward to working with y'all, because y'all help push it over the line and into the end zone. So thanks so much for your help in advance.
And Kirby, and I love the little giggles in the back. There's more special than them giggles in the background now. Yeah. So they make me smile. And my grandboys were here, they'd be interrupting as well. So, they're in charge also. Kirby, if you could follow up and let us know the areas that these 3 new crisis walk-ins. And I asked that because I know every year on our needs assessments, one of ours is a crisis center. And so I'd like to know is any of that, any one of those three going to hit Middle Tennessee outside of Davidson?
I'll say
Yeah.
this, Debbie. Yes, I do remember that from the conversations. I don't have the crystal clear memory of exactly where, but I do, in general sense, know that we were targeting Middle Tennessee outside Davidson for some of this. And the commissioner made the point that because the regional councils, you look at this budget proposal, there's a lot of stuff in here that addresses the needs assessments from this year and past years that we have received from the regional councils. We hear you and we take action on that.
Well, you know, and sometimes I know, and you see the crisis one as an example. I don't know how many years I've been sitting on the council here and fill out the needs assessments. And I know that one has been on there for umpteen years. And, you know, and there's a point where you wonder, okay, are they really hearing us, whatever? But then to see that the wheels move slow in government. I get that. but to see that that finally has hit the radar, that means is you've gathered enough information to make the case to the governor, and you couldn't just take our word that it's that. You had to have some data behind it to prove our request. And the same with the treatment. And the one thing that look, we got a star. Is that the infrastructure? It's one thing to expand beds, but right above it, there's some additional $6 million, because it's one thing to develop a program or develop extra beds, but if there's not funding to cover the services, you don't need the beds. So to see those two interacted there, and know that those were on the needs assessment, you're right, Kurt. So yeah, everything you got here today, at least on this particular slide, is stuff that's been in a summary by multiple councils asked for.
Debbie, this is Avis. Oh, go ahead, Kurt.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Kurt. Oh, I was just going to say, Debbie, in addition to that, something else that we have been doing, in addition to the needs assessment summary and the one pager, we actually share with the commissioner those needs that have been more frequently occurring over years. And so she has that additional piece of information, and I think that shows as well in this recent budget request that she asked for, things that have been more, and we know that's one of the things that you have had on your needs assessment for many years, probably as long as I've been with you on the Region 5 Council. But the department does hear you, they are listening, and exactly what Kurt said, I believe I heard that as well, the same thing that he alluded to, that perhaps it was Middle Tennessee and some of the surrounding counties this year in the budget request. So we're working.
Many thanks. Kurt, did you have a follow-up?
No, I just want to say that Avis and Kirby and Amy do a great job getting that feedback from y'all, making sure that it's packaged in a way that is effective and gets to commissioner. You're seeing the results. Hopefully the governor will include this in his budget to the legislature. And I believe Avis sent this slideshow out to the council. So check your email.
Actually, I made a note to forward it out. My cheat sheet notes over here. All right, just for one more thing from you, Kurt, what's the young little lady's name? What's the boss's name?
You want to tell them your name? What's your name? You don't. Her name is Tess. Yes. Evelyn Tess, right? Go by Tess.
All right. All right. Any other questions for any of the state representatives?
Debbie. So you're going to be mad because, at first you thought it was August 15th that the needs assessments were due. And then I took several months away from you. And then I told you it was April 15th. It's actually April 1st. I was going based off of last year when they were due April, or this year, I should say, 2021. They were due April 15th because I was on maternity leave. I'm sorry. It's April 1st.
You just lost points.
I'm sorry.
Please, Debbie, give her her points back. She's
Give
doing
her
a
points
fabulous job. Don't take the points away. We need all the points we can get at this
It's a miracle I'm functioning right now, Debbie.
All right. I hear you. Okay. And thank all of you. You guys are always good at giving us information, and if we need further explanation, you're always good at making sure we get it. So we appreciate that. I am still in look for a secretary, for someone to step up and volunteer.
Debbie,
yes.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I just wanted this to be on everybody's radar because we don't meet, we meet quarterly, but before you know it, that's only like 2 meetings away from decisions and things like that. So Debbie's term as chair ends June 30th. Look how excited she is. We might bring her back. She's left and come back like 4 times now.
It always rolls back to the co-chair, and somehow or another that chair always manages to leave.
Well, Amber, she left this meeting, but she's not allowed to leave.
That was good.
So typically what happens, so long as, they don't have any other obligations and they're able to, typically the vice chair would move into that chair role. So we will be looking for nominations for a vice chair. And also, Debbie's been so gracious to have her assistants help her with minutes and things like that. But we will need a secretary. We will need a permanent secretary. And, it is good while we're meeting virtually, and who knows how long we'll be meeting virtually. No idea. But we do have those recordings to take minutes. Word for word isn't needed. It's not so bad. And I'm there to take notes and help out as I go along. I just naturally do that anyway. I'm always there to provide assistance to any member of regional council leadership. So it's not like you'll be out there by yourself. Region 5 is a really solid team. So I just want to put that on everybody's radar that we will be looking for nominations probably at the next meeting. I think we should go ahead and get started on that for vice chair. If you're interested in filling either role, just let us know. I hope someone is.
And if I'm not mistaken, vice chair, because Amber is mental health, the vice chair is substance.
Yes, dual or substance abuse. So you must be representative of dual or substance abuse.
All right.
Secretary, there's no. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're mental health or substance abuse or both. So if you're just interested or if you have questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out.
We'll cover it through June.
Yeah.
So Nicole has been very gracious and stepping up to try to keep all my stuff in line. So she actually went through the recordings the other day to come up with the minutes for me.
Right. And chair and vice chair roles, those are 3 years. So once you're appointed, once you're nominated and the council votes, then you're also selected to go through the appointment process to be on the big statewide planning and policy council, which is really a great opportunity as well. You get lots of firsthand information. You can make lots of connections. I think the statewide planning and policy council is wonderful. So that's something else that's included in that as well. And, I say 3 terms, but life happens. It doesn't mean that you can't resign early if you need to. It's okay. But terms are for 3 years. And there's some people that they keep renewing their terms as they go to be on the statewide council. So just something to consider.
All right. Children's Committee. Legislative, we don't have anything. Do we know when the legislators will, and are they back in a special session right now, aren't they?
Yes.
No, ma'am. No.
Oh, they're over? I thought they had it.
They had it and they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Okay.
They wrapped up last Friday.
Do you know when they come back, Kurt?
I think it's the 11th of January if they don't decide to come back for another special session. I believe it's the second Tuesday in January is when they come back. So whenever that is.
Okay.
There was they did have their.
Keep on telling me stuff and I say mommy.
Okay, just a second. All right. They did they did meet in special session last week, and they passed some bills around COVID related issues. So Tamho and Tatis, I would imagine, would have information for y'all on that if y'all are a member of those groups. There was a lot of bills around or legislative language around mask mandates, vaccine mandates, quarantining. So I would suggest taking a look through those bills. If you have legal counsel, take a look through those bills to understand the impact that they might have.
Okay. All right. The roster. We took the roster that Sherry had given me when she left, when we sent all the minutes out. And we had several that kicked back, no longer here or not a valid or whatever. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nicole sent out the roster and asked for the updates. So if you could please update your information. If there's no change, just send her an email and say no change. If there is a change, tell her what that change is, please. Cooper, you got anything?
No, I'm still sitting and supporting community activities behind my screen. And I was so excited I was going to go to the TEDx conference coming up. That's been canceled.
I was too, and I saw it got canceled.
I was heartbroken. So, but I'm still here. We're still sponsoring. I do have very few dollars left in my budget for until the end of the year. Let me know if I can support something in the community for United Healthcare.
Yes, ma'am. Do we have anyone from a Mayor Group or Blue Care? Okay. Maria, you got any trainings that we need to know about?
Yes, I have several upcoming trainings. Ethics for Clinical Supervision on November the 19th from 9 to 12 for all the clinical supervisors. So Debbie.
Hey, I got mine at the Together Again conference.
Oh, okay. So if you know anybody else in your group that needs that, make them aware. It is going to be virtual.
Okay.
Okay. In January, yes.
Yeah.
January, I will have a training around trauma-informed trauma approach and working with people who are incarcerated. And that would be January 21st. Yeah, I had to put a hold on trainings due to the conference, and then we had to shift with the conference. So hopefully we will get to reschedule the conference for next year, but we were bumping up against a number of other conferences coming up, and that was the drawback.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all from training.
All right. Any other announcements from anyone in the group? Greg has put a lot of information in the chat box regarding the housing facilitators and the Child One and all. So if you haven't looked in your chat box, you might look and see the links and so forth and emails that Greg has put in there. All right. It is.
Hey, Debbie.
Yes,
Hey, Debbie.
sir.
On
That's
the
Clark.
on the 13th of November, they'll be having the annual, well, they canceled it last year, but to veterans football game at MTSU.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be going on the 13th, and it starts at 2:30 p.m. and it's free admission for all veterans.
Okay. Anything else? And I apologize for overlooking the veterans, Clark. Anything else with regard to the veterans?
No, well, as far as the VA in the homeless program, we're picking up on the 15th, which is Monday. We're distributing about 425 turkeys to all the veterans that's in our homeless program all over the southern Middle Tennessee area, all the services of all the places that we provide services to. So I have a few veterans, even in the rural counties, of all the veterans that's under HUD-VASH, let me say it like that.
Is it HUD-VASH?
Yes, all the veterans.
And not GPD, HUD-VASH.
No, not GPD, but it might be kind of late to get them in, but if we could, I can try to see if I can fit that in.
Yeah. They fall in the same category.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll work on that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ray, I want to, again, thank you for participating and hope you'll participate in all of it. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with the HUD Continuum of Care?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. So right now we're in the thick of writing our application for all. We did our rank and review. We didn't have anybody who appeals, which is wonderful because we did have to reallocate this year. So it was that's always one of those things where you're on pins and needles, but I think everybody got it. We were able to create 3 new projects, and so we're hoping our application will be good enough to get the bonus money that we applied for. It was just a small amount because this year in the pro rata, our entire amount of the continuum budget was able to fit in tier 1. So we just kind of went over a little bit. Yeah, so that was awesome. So hopefully our application will be good enough to get that small bonus, and then we will have created 3 brand new projects for the continuum, including a coordinated entry project. So we're really just trying to keep rocking and rolling. We really would like to get into some youth programs. There isn't very many things around here, but if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to do anything around mental health. That would be awesome, but there just isn't much. So
Ray, can you tell us kind of what these 3 new projects might entail?
Yes, they're rapid rehousing projects. So 2 of them were the rapid rehousing projects. We got a brand new organization that and they are located, oh my goodness, I don't have it in front of me, but hang on one second.
While you're looking at that particular information up, Ray, would it be possible at our next meeting that you give us an overview of the projects that are located in the Central Tennessee Continuum of Care and
Sure.
what services they provide? That I think that would be helpful for everyone.
Sure. our new Crossroads project, they are going to be a new RH program. It's brand new, and we're hoping that they're going to come on board and start kicking butt and take names right away. Missy is an organization that has helped out in our continuum for a long time. They're going to do our coordinated entry project. And South Central Family Center, they're located out of Maury County, and they are going to do a brand new RRH project. So, yeah, so we are just trying to keep everybody, we're trying to get new blood too and circulate it through the continuum. So with the COVID money that we got throughout the continuum, there were some really great projects that were added. We were able to get acquire a house in one of our projects where they were able to safely house homeless people in the Williamson County area, which is a big deal. So we just kind of have been through a lot in this last year, as most of us have. So, but I will make sure that I get you guys updated on every project that we have at our next meeting. Thanks so much, Debbie, for inviting me.
No, thank you. Any other announcements?
Hey, Debbie.
Yes.
It's Maria again. I sent you over the training list that I have thus far for 2022.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Any other announcements? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Anybody give me a second? Let's see. I can't see the full list of people here. Stephanie, if you're still on, can you give me a second, please?
You beat me to it. I just unmuted. Stephanie Hale, I second.
Thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
As I always say, Clark, what?
Vote with your feet.
And in this case, it's with your finger to the off button.